back to another trade recap. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So initially, right off the rip for today, this is kind of what I was looking at on the 15-minute. So when we opened up this morning, we bounced and we sold off for about the first 30 minutes to an hour. And we looked to have a retracement. Now, when we did retrace, we did end up hitting equilibrium here and up above 50%. So we were back down into a discount before we could probably head lower. Where we had this kind of big imbalance, I was looking for longs this morning solely based off of that. So if we look over at the 1 minute where I actually did end up taking these trades, this was the first bounce down. We came back up, we hit equilibrium, but we came back down. We didn't take back these lows, right? And when we continued to head higher, we didn't take out the highs. So we kind of just consolidated in this range. But I was still leaning towards longs because when we came back down, we rebounced off of this 15-minute fair value gap. So when we bounced off this 15-minute fair value gap, I was hoping to see us get into this fair value gap before breaking structure. But when we broke structure here while bouncing off of this 1 minute fair value gap, I went to take longs. We ended up getting stopped out on the first play, but then we ended up re-entering right here. Let's go ahead and delete this first one. Right, but the reason why I took it was we had a bounce, we inversed this fair value gap, and we broke structure here. And we also took out a little minor liquidity while continuing to bounce off of this fair value gap. So if we get rid of all of that. So for the second one, we took out this 5-minute low, and still with the mindset that we were bouncing here to possibly fill this 15-minute imbalance. We inversed again. We had a fair value gap here, which is where my stops were right below it. We broke structure right here. We ended up taking this first high. I did jump on this a little too early, so if I had to fix one thing, it would be to actually have waited for this candle to close, because if it would have closed, I would have got a way better entry, risking a lot less. And then where I ended up selling were these two highs, I would have gotten, obviously a lot more than what I initially got in at. But because of that, we ended up not getting what we really wanted. So it was about a 1.3 risk to reward ratio on this trade. These were my two take profits. Really, it was this 5-minute high was really where my eye was looking. I would have also done better to have waited slightly longer to see if we could have got this push, but where I was also down on this first trade today, that played a little bit of factor on why we ended up actually selling here, even though we could have, taken out these two highs literally 2 minutes later. So that's kind of the bigger thing. But to basically sum this all up, we lost on the first trade. We were taking long solely off the fact that we sold off this morning. We were looking for a retrace after we came down and filled this 15-minute fair value gap. That about sums up this trade recap. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant.